In his long and illustrious career, Ridley Scott has helped shape the cinema landscape with his films. His movies have become some of the most profound and visually extravagant pieces ever to grace the big screen. And two of his movies, Alien and Blade Runner, changed the way in which science fiction films are made and how they are looked at today. This episode is going to explore his film Blade Runner and why it not only is a great science fiction film, but why it is considered to be one of the best and most studied films in cinema. Cops in the future are called Blade Runners. Blade Runners are a special unit that track down and hunt androids known as replicants in order to retire them from service. The film follows the mission of Rick Deckard as he is tasked to take down a rogue of replicants, preventing them from killing their creator, Dr. Eldon Tyrell. There are many reasons why Blade Runner is considered to be the best science fiction film of all time. Firstly, the movie explores a cyberpunk world. The term cyberpunk wasn't coined until the late to mid-90s, but Blade Runner was the first and earliest example of what cyberpunk is. It was the first medium that explored a cyberpunk world. In the movie's case, a future Los Angeles. Secondly, the themes and philosophical questions that arise from the narrative are significant to the world of science fiction and bring up some hot topic issues that we are still having conversations about today. And lastly, Blade Runner contains a noir-like element to it that we saw in the early 1930s and 40s gangster films, which is a big part of the tone for this film. Let's explore each of these points. Ridley Scott created this futuristic cyberpunk Los Angeles in which we see a great deal amount of technology in a glooming looking city. Los Angeles looks a lot like Chinatown, and there are a great deal of colors with a palette of visual imagery that is just mind-blowing. Almost every science fiction film following Blade Runner has tried to imitate the look and feel of Blade Runner. As far as the philosophy goes, the movie delves into dreams and the mechanics of people as human beings. The replicants in the movie look and act like humans, even though they are robots. Eldon Tyrell has an important quote which he cites to Deckard, which is more human than human. What exactly makes someone human? Is it their ability to love? Is it their soul? Or is it something more like their actions? These questions make for fascinating discussions, and this movie took those questions and put them on the audience to ponder. And the most integral part of Blade Runner is the actual tone of the film. The film started the neo-noir. A neo-noir is simply a new noir, meaning the film contains elements of a film noir, but it uses modern storytelling techniques. A lot of the film takes place in dark places, with a claustrophobic setting and characters that look and talk like they are from the 1940s, while utilizing elements of science fiction. So people always ask the question, why is Blade Runner such a good movie? There are many different reasons. Blade Runner influenced so many films that came after it. It explores societal implications that are still very relevant today, and the special effects that were used in the film hold up extremely well, and they still look stunning to look at in high definition. Ridley Scott regards Blade Runner as his most complete and personal film to date. And since the movie's Blu-ray release, there are many different versions and cuts of the film which people have loved looking at and exploring. There has been a controversy over the movie with the ending. Ridley Scott has said numerous times that Deckard is actually a replicant and that the clue lies within the origami at the end of the movie. Harrison Ford hated this idea, but it looks like the answer will be more clearly explored in the sequel, which is coming out in a matter of years. Over time, the movie has become so iconic in the cinema landscape, and the soliloquy at the end of the movie is extremely poetic and gives the film so much meaning and substance.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.
Ridley Scott's Blade Runner is a quiet masterpiece. It was selected for preservation by the National Registry of Film for being culturally and aesthetically significant. Its mind-blowing special effects and tone are still being replicated in today's modern science fiction films, and it defined the world of cyberpunk that we see in movies, novels, and video games today. Blade Runner is a science fiction classic, and author Philip K. Dick, who wrote the original story, said that this film was the most impressive that he had ever seen. Blade Runner is a timeless film that gets better and better with each viewing. And if you love studying and analyzing movies, then this one is one of the best to explore if you are looking for dark and dangerous days at the forefront of modern cinema.